Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at how to negotiate the best possible deal when it comes to your interest rate on either your home loan or even your investment loan for investment properties that you may have. Okay, this is something you've got to be prepared to do when you're talking to your bank. Don't be afraid to negotiate a slightly better deal with them, especially if you have a lot of finance with your bank, and don't be afraid to shop around or even threaten that you are shopping around. So going to be looking at a couple of different tips and tricks and strategies today to make sure that you get the best possible deal on your interest rate. Okay, I'm going to leave everything I talk about today. I'm going to leave links in the description below. I'm even going to leave a little script of Scott Pape's that he has. You can actually follow a script if you're a bit uneasy or a bit shy, that you're not too sure what to say. So we'll quickly walk through his script that he leaves there for you to make sure that you get the best possible deal with your current lender, or even threaten them to maybe potentially leave. With that said, everything I talk about today is purely educational, okay? Don't know your financial situation or anything around that sort of nature, so take what you will from it. Just a random bloke on the internet that loves getting a good deal on his home loan. Just got off the phone to them today, so I was super hyped up on it. Thought I'd drop a video on it. Alright guys, with that said, let's jump into it. Guys, so we're going to start by looking over Canstar. Canstar is a great place to look to, just to give you a snapshot of different interest rates that are currently available in the market, as the interest rate is always changing. So that's something to bear in mind. You might look at this one month and then next week or next month it changes. So something to always bear in mind. So like I said, Canstar is a great place to start. I'm going to leave a link in the description below for this, so you can do your own research around it, which I highly recommend. Don't just take my word for it. And this is a great website across both Australia and New Zealand. So canstar.com.au is obviously the Australian version, and then the New Zealand one is canstar.co.nz. But definitely both a great resource to start, just to sort of get a look at different interest rates that are currently available in the market. We're just going to have a quick scroll down here. They sometimes have a few ads at the top of these as well, but if we're having a quick look at this, loans.com.au, so we'll have a quick look at that later. That's saying that's the, you can quickly just put in, all the different filters here. It's all pretty straightforward to sort of work your way around. But that's what they're currently saying. The lowest rate in Australia is 1.99%. Like I said, I'm just going to have a quick overview of this. I haven't done a deep sort of dive to see what the best rate is out there at the moment, but that's just what I'm using this screening tool here for, just to sort of get a gauge on what's currently out there. So you can see most of them are in their twos. This other one down here, 3.41 with Ubank. Generally, Ubank's pretty good for being the lowest. I don't actually personally use Ubank, but Scott Pape talks about him a bit in a couple of his books and some of his recommendations that he uses. But I am pretty interested in this loans.com.au. If anyone here actually uses loans.com.au, drop in the comments below, because I'd like to run a couple of questions past you. Anyway, so that's Canstar. There's also another one called Rate City as well. Also has some very similar to Canstar as well. Same sort of thing, comparing different home loans and whatnot. And also Canstar does interest rates of credit cards and insurance policies and all sorts of different things as well. So we're just going to have a quick look at a couple of different banks here, just to see what they're sort of using as their best sort of rates that they've got going at the moment. And then in the end, I'll show you Scott Pape's script. So if you want to skip straight to that, then skip straight forward to that. But here's a couple of other examples of other banks at the moment. So this is what ANZ is currently offering. This is in Australia. Be slightly different in New Zealand, but this is currently what ANZ is offering in Australia. So at the moment, 2.09% per annum for fixed for 2 years on owner-occupied home loan under the ANZ break-free package. You'll notice a lot of banks have these break-free packages, or they'll dress it up and call it something else and just charge you one flat fee for the entire year. And this would include a loan or two and a credit card or something. We're personally using the ANZ break-free package, and it annoys me that it's $395 a year, but it sort of stacks up against credit card and all the other bits and pieces that they sort of throw in with it. It does make it actually slightly cheaper than not having it, so they sort of force you to do it, but I don't love it. And then their comparison rate, that's obviously always the higher option. But that's, bear in mind, guys, that's actually not on an investment loan. That's on an owner-occupier, like I said before. So always make sure that you know what you're looking for investment loan or owner-occupier or something like that. And also having the 20% equity within the home as well. The LVR ratios is something that the banks look at as well, to make sure you give it a favourable interest rate. And another thing, I actually talked to the girl today on the phone with ANZ. She was amazing, and she gave me a good deal, which is great. But she also offered me this thing down here. We're just going to have a quick look at it. You could apply to lock in a fixed rate, terms and conditions at a minimum $750 fee apply. So let's say that you're interest rate is coming up for renewal in, say, a week or two, and you're negotiating with the bank and you're talking to them and say, look, we can give you this rate, but we can't lock it in till 2 weeks or whenever your other one expires, but you can lock it in for $750. I would definitely not do that. She offered it to me today, and I almost laughed at her. So definitely not something I would look at, especially in the current interest rate environment. I cannot see interest rates going up in the next sort of at least year or two, possibly even more. But that's, like I said, I'm not a financial advisor. That's just my take on it. If you want to lock it in for $750, then knock yourself out. But I think it's an absolute waste of money, so I wouldn't be doing that. Let's have a quick look at loans.com.au. This is one of the best interest rates I could find actually out there at the market at the moment, coming in at 1.99 for your owner-occupier and also your investment property. So here's the deal here. So 1.99% discount variable rate. This is for 1 year, I think the term was, compared to the 2.47, and also investment property. You'll find usually most, especially the big four banks in Australia, they have the owner-occupier slightly cheaper than the investment rate. So I don't even know why they do that. New Zealand, they don't seem to offer that same sort of things. It's just a flat rate across the board, but well, depending on the investment itself. But generally, my properties in New Zealand, the same rate across the board. There's no sort of difference between owner-occupier or investment loan, but in Australia it seems to be what they do. And I haven't had much great success trying to get the investment loan back to sort of the owner-occupier sort of rates. But if you guys have had some success with it, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear how you managed to swindle that one. So this is quite a good deal I find at the moment. That's with loans.com.au, so I'll leave a link to that in the description below. Like I said, I don't personally bank with these guys, but I think it's a pretty cool deal they've got running at the moment. And then also over at Commbank, they're running a pretty good deal at the moment as well, coming in at 1.99% per annum for fixed for 4 years. Now, there's a big sort of debate, it depends who you talk to, about fixed or floating or variable. Depends if you're Australian, Kiwi, or wherever you're sort of from, what they call it. Look, I've got a mixture of both. I've got some fixed, some floating or variable. And look, I see the pros and cons to both, and at the current interest rates, I don't mind, locking it in at around that 2.5%, because that's a smoking deal. And like, everyone, if it depends who you listen to, no one can really forecast what the interest rate's going to be doing in a couple of years or now. But it's nice and comforting to know that you're getting locked in at, 2.5%. That's a smoking deal, I feel anyway. And look, interest rates have never been this low, so definitely a good time. If you're considering locking, I would definitely be leaning towards locking at the moment. And quite often, especially at the moment, you'll find that the fixed rates are better than the variable rate. Reason being is this: they're trying to sort of push you into getting on that fixed rate, because they're obviously forecasting, or the banks are possibly thinking that the rates may even go lower. So that's the biggest risk that you face with being fixed or floating. The rates could even drop back even lower again. You may look back in another 6 months from now and they might be offering 1.5%. So that's just the risk you take. So if you're happy to pay 1.99% or 2 or 2.5, whatever it may be, but they also might go the other way. But at these sort of interest rates, like, I'm pretty happy to lock it in. But that's just me personally. That's my take on it. Let's lastly have a quick look at the Barefoot script. Okay, this is just on the Herald Sun. If you've got any of Barefoot's books, he has the actual script in the book, but I managed just to find this online. Like I said, there's not much else. It's got Pape, but it's a great handy little script to follow along, especially if you've been uneasy and you're talking to the bank and you need a bit of guidance around, negotiating a deal with the bank, then this is a great way to go. So yeah, obviously get them on the phone, hello, my name, I've been with you for such and such years, I've applied to refinance you, and then he uses Ubank as an example here. One moment please, Of course, you're bluffing. You're not actually wanting to change over banks because it's a pain in the ass. I've never actually done it, but I have used this sort of tactic before as well. I'm just looking at transferring over. Then all of a sudden you'll see they'll start performing magic. So you're bluffing, of course. However, the bank sales team have a strict targets they've got to meet and whatnot. One of which is giving profitable customers discounts to stop them leaving. So that's a great little handy thing to know. Bank rep, we can't match the rate you quoted. However, we understand you're a very valuable customer, so we'd like to offer you a 0.15% discount. I've actually had this discount offered to me in the past as well. And the first, I can't remember if it was a guy or girl or whoever it was, said, look, this is the best we can do. I was like, oh, all good, mate. Well, looks like I'm going to have to, pull pin. And I think I was going to go to Ubank or whoever it was at the time, had the best deal. So make sure you do research around it before you actually ring the bank. Have a look to see what different deals there are out there in the market, so you're going in knowing like what other great interest rates there are, so you've got good sort of leverage you can use. Oh, look, Ubank's offering this, or Commbank or ANZ or Westpac or whatever the best deal is at the time, you can use that against the bank, so sort of play them off against each other. And I like to not have all my banking with one particular bank. In Australia, I have bank accounts with Westpac and ANZ, and in New Zealand I have Westpac and ASB. So it's good to sort of play them off against each other a little as well. Don't have everything stacked in, with the one bank. It gives them too much power. I don't like having everything with one bank. That's just me personally. If you love and you're loyal to your one bank, by all means knock yourself out. And I like not that loyal with banks either. In the past, if you look back 20 years, you would have quite a good relationship with your personal bank manager and whatnot. But that's all changed now. It's all big corporate banks, and you can sort of use that to your advantage a little bit. So that's just a little quick one around that. And then here, said that, oh look, that's not good enough. I've already got conditional approval, which you don't have, but you're sort of bluffing along with them at 0.5 discount. And this is actually what happened to me. And then I think they got around 0.5 or maybe 0.45 discount. So it was pretty much bang from the script here actually. So yeah, like I said, don't be shy to use the script. I think it's a great way to do. Especially if you're first time negotiating with the bank, you can be a little bit uneasy or not too sure what to say, then definitely use this. Even talk to them on the phone and just scroll through this. So I'll leave a link in the description below to this script, so it's easy for you to follow along. With that said, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Got any questions or any dramas or anything I covered off on, drop it in the comments below and I'll do my best to help you out. Cheers, guys. Alright guys, I hope you got some value there from going over a couple of the tips, tricks and strategies that you can use to make sure that you get the best deal when it comes to negotiating your interest rate with the bank, okay? Like I said, we're just focusing on Australia and New Zealand banks today, but I'm sure if you use these same principles in America or Canada or wherever you may be in the world, you could probably get a better outcome from the bank as well. But this is just what I've sort of learned from negotiating with the banks here in Australia and New Zealand, and they've helped me out a lot. And like I said, don't be afraid to negotiate with them. They will quickly just keep you on a slightly higher rate. It makes no difference to them, and the person you're talking on the phone, she's still getting paid her salary, or he or she, whoever it may be. So definitely don't be afraid to have a bit of a crack at negotiating with them. But like I said, be friendly about it. You don't have to be aggressive or anything like that. Just work your way through the script if you need, and just try and get the best possible deal out there. If you've got any questions or any dramas or anything I covered off today, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to know if you guys, what the best deal you've managed to get on your home loan. I think the best I managed to get was about 0.5% lower than what the advertised price was. That was on a floating rate or variable rate. But like I said, if you enjoyed today's video, guys, be much appreciated. If you hit that like button, helps me out a lot, especially as a new YouTube channel, helps push these videos out a little bit further. And if you want to see some more videos like this moving forward, guys, hit that subscribe button. I'd love to have you along for the ride. With that said, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next video. Cheers, guys.